right, we're going to get started with Carlos Mendoza. First question for Carlos. Who wants to start it off? We could start in the back on the right side here.
Hey, Carlos, did that, it's been a couple of days, but did that game 2 kind of feel like a summation of you guys after losing big the night before you struck back really quickly in game 2?
Yeah, and we've done it the whole year. Like I said that day, we get punched, we find a way to get back up, and it's gonna be a fun series, man. A lot of back and forth, 2 really good teams, and we just got to continue to fight. But it was good for us to, especially after we played that game 1, for us to come out on the first inning with Lindor and then continue to add on. Obviously, Vientos with the big one, and then finishing off and getting the victory there. It was important now back here at home and get ready for game 3.
Go to Anthony right up front.
If you look back to May when you moved Lindor into the leadoff spot, what sort of went into that decision for you? And now looking back on it, is this kind of a best-case scenario of how it could have worked out?
Yeah, not a secret. We were struggling offensively as a team. And I remember it was after a tough loss in Miami. We were going back to the hotel, and I was right next to Francisco, and we were having a lot of conversations. And then the lineup construction came up, and, I put it out there, just wanted to give him a different look. And I wanted to get his take. And the first thing he said was, yeah, when I first came up to the league, I hit leadoff. And so we continued to have that conversation. And the one thing that he said was, if you want to do it, let's give it a good look here. We didn't want it to be a couple of games or a week or so. Let's give it a run and see how it goes. And man, he took off, and it seems like the lineup kind of fed off that. So, but it's a good player.
A few more for Carlos. We'll go to Bill, third row in the middle here.
Yeah, Carlos. Otani is 6 for 8 with runners on base in the postseason and hitless in like 19 at-bats with nobody on. How does the equation change dealing with him when there's traffic on the bases and when there's not?
I don't think he changed. It was Shohei Ohtani. He's one of the best hitters in the league. So whether it's nobody on base or people on base, I mean, you got your work cut out. And you have to manage the game and see how you're going to attack him, how you're going to pitch to him in certain situations. But like I said, runners on base, not runners on, like he's an elite hitter, and he's dangerous. So I don't think it changes much.
Go to Bob, far left in the second row.
Hey, Carlos. What do you think? A lot of times in postseason history, the big stars seem to struggle, and the guys kind of down the order are the heroes. Whether it was, Barry Bonds back in the day struggled early on. Judge has gone through his struggles, and Otani. Is it just so much emphasis on the scouting reports and keep the big guy in check?
Yeah, I guess but they're still really good players, and they're one swing away. I said it with Pete Alonso when we were facing the Brewers. Like, they are elite, and there's a reason why. And maybe teams are a little bit more careful when, you're trying to pitch around certain guys, and, different guys have different ways of approaching those situations. But, like, I don't know that you can put too much into it. There's times where they're going to struggle, but there's also times where they're going to come huge. And whether it's Barry Bonds, whether it's Aaron Judge, Otani, and you name it, there's a reason why they're superstars. So
Let's go to Jesse in the front row on the left.
Carlos, a lot of guys have talked about the impact J.D. Martinez has had. What do you see specifically he's had from a hitting standpoint? Is he almost like another coach in uniform, and what is the specific impact?
Yeah, I think just how guys starting to prepare individually, like what to look for just by having conversations with him. Hey, what are some of the things that you look for when you are doing your homework, when you're preparing and you're going to face this guy? And then not only individually but collectively. And then whether it's swing path, whether it's, there's a lot mechanic-wise that he's pretty smart when it comes down to hitting, and he's been a huge part of this team since he got here. And, I think it's a privilege to have a mindset like that. But then you got to give credit to our hitting coaches, too, that, are willing to listen and then just kind of bounce ideas of each other, and then, okay, this is what we're seeing. What do you got? And then just like with every player. But JD has been huge for us as a team. Great guy in that clubhouse, not only for the offensive side, but just the experience and the way he sees the game and how he prepares, and special guy.
Go to the back right.
How's Brandon Nimmo feeling?
Nothing new to report there. I haven't seen him today, but I wouldn't expect to be the same. I'll expect him to be in the lineup tomorrow.
Let's go to David on the left side, about 3 or 4 rows back.
Carlos, just to follow up on JD, in LA, there was a lot of talk about Kike being a playoff player. JD has that reputation as well. How do you see him working into the rest of this series? He's
going to be a huge part of this team. He's been huge for us, and he continue to do so. There's a good chance he's in the lineup tomorrow. Like I said, he's a professional hitter, and he means a lot to this team and to that lineup. So his presence and, like I said, whenever he's in there, it makes us a better team as well. So, he's going to be a big part, continue to be a big part of this team moving forward.
Let's go to Tim over here on the right.
What did you think of Francisco Lindor not being a finalist for the Gold Glove Award?
I don't know what to make of, but I don't know that he's if you ask him, the one thing he'll tell you, he's not here to win personal awards. He's here to win the whole thing, which is the World Series, and that's his goal. And that, but yeah, he's an elite defender. I was shocked that he wasn't even in the finals. So,
and with Kodai Senga, is he still? Are all indications that he's still healthy and fine? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, so right now everything's fine. He's going to go out there and play catch and see what we got.
Go back to Anthony on the left front.
That was partially my question, but now that you're guaranteed to play Game 5, is Senga essentially penciled in for that start?
We'll see. We'll see how see how he feels today and how we're going to get there to Game 5, and we'll make a decision.
Is Peterson an option at all for that start, or are you more or less set on using him in relief?
Yeah, I mean, again, we'll see how the game goes tomorrow, if Peterson is available for tomorrow or the next day, and then we just got to get there first. But he's bringing a lot of value out of the bullpen as well. So, but we'll see.
And Game 4 will be Quintana.
Game 4 is Q, yep.
Let's go over to the left side in the front row, Mark.
What are you seeing from Francisco Alvarez's at-bats? And he's played a lot of games. Just is he starting to tire a little bit, do you think?
No, maybe trying to do a little too much at times, especially with runners on. But he's a good hitter, man. I like the conviction. I like that he's aggressive, and he will continue to get opportunity because he's a big part of this team. So, you're facing elite pitching, and you're gonna have to make some adjustments because they're gonna be tough, and they got good scouting reports. And like I said, you have to make adjustments. And especially that last game, I think he was trying to do a little too much with runners on, but he'll be fine.
Any last ones for Carlos? Dave, we'll finish up in the front.
I was just asking Sevy about how he'd think about facing Otani. He said he'd watch what Darvish had done against him. Darvish obviously has, like he mentioned, 11 pitches or so to throw in that. I mean, as much as you can try to game plan for Otani, even if you execute your pitches, he can still hurt you. So how do you play? You just base his attack on the situation of the game and figure out what to do?
Yeah, like I said earlier, he's an elite hitter, and the situation of the game will tell us how we're going to approach him. Sevy can go back and look at the film, and Darvish, is a complete different pitch package, But Sevy's got to be himself. He's got to stick to his strength. He's got to attack, and again, have a good feel for the situation of the game. And then if we have to make adjustments, we will. But I just want Sevy to be himself and go out there and execute.
Take one last quick one with Mark.
Buehler's against lefties has been slightly less effective than against righties. Just is there any temptation to get McNeil into a start here?
We'll see. And those are only conversations there. Buehler's kind of neutral, so I could go with righties. I could mix lefty in there, but yeah, I gotta go back and look a little bit more in there.
All right. Thanks, Carlos. We'll see you tomorrow.